One of my favorite ways to use maple syrup is actually in baking. A lot of recipes, especially my old time family recipes that are passed down, use corn syrup or sugar, which is something we just don't have in our house. Instead, we use maple syrup. And you might think it would be hard because it's a liquid, but just with a little tweaking and some technique, you can easily adjust any recipe to your liking. As a mom, over the years, not using sugar, I looked for recipes and ways for people to clearly explain to me how you could substitute maple syrup for sugar. And what I found is there is no information out there on the internet. You either use a recipe tailored specifically for maple syrup, or you use one for sugar and you wing it. And that's what I'm telling you today. I basically wung it with my recipes. It's up to you. If you like to measure and be exact, that's fine. And maybe you would use something like our maple sugar, which is also available in our farm store. However, if you're open to winging it with me, often what I do and look for is adjusting the flour amount to make the batter similar as when I made it before with sugar. For example, if I were making a recipe with cookies and it called for 2 cups of flour and 1 cup of sugar, I might decrease it to 2/3 of a cup of maple syrup and then increase my flour just slightly until the batter looked like cookie dough again. This is not a foolproof scientific method, and I'm not a scientist, but this is an easy way to implement maple syrup in your baked goods and make them overall healthy. If you're looking for an exact recipe, we do have an Apple Crisp video right here that uses the correct measurements and proponents for maple syrup. And if you want to see more recipe videos, let us know in the comments below. Do you have a favorite recipe that's been passed down but uses ingredients that you don't like? I'm super interested in tweaking them and adapting them to a healthy lifestyle. So let me know. Send me a private message. Another healthy alternative to sugar is honey, and I do the same method with the maple syrup as I do with honey. Honey is a little bit sweeter, so I often decrease the sweetener even more. For example, if the recipe calls for 1 cup of sugar, reduce it to 1/2 cup of honey. But that's from years of detoxing from sugar and our taste buds adapting. So as you bake and as you learn, find out what you like. Do you like things super sweet? And if not, decrease it. Maple syrup and honey have a different sweetness, so I definitely encourage you to experiment. But don't be afraid. In the kitchen, you really can't make any mistakes besides burning things. One thing I've found over the years is that maple syrup is a different type of sweet. It hits your tongue differently. To compromise for that, I add extra salt to my recipe. That's another thing you'll have to do over time by tweaking the flavors. Always start small and slowly adapt. Everything is best in moderation. Take your health into your own hands and try making a baked good with maple syrup or honey today.